Should Marcus Blaze be pissed off? So, Marcus Blaze, for anybody who isn't aware, is the number one ranked high school kid for this year in the United States of America. Now, if you're quasi-wrestling fans, and this were a multiple choice question on Jeopardy, you would get it wrong. You would say it's Bo Bassett. Now, Bo Bassett is the most famous, but Bo himself would tell you if you're doing the rankings, you need to put Marcus 1. I'm just sharing that with you because some are going to go, Marcus Blaze, I'm not familiar with him. So, there's one guy in all of America that can get the jump on Blaze. And he's got no eligibility left. His name is Vito. There was one guy at the World Championships. The world! A fully contested. The Russians, the Cubans, the whole bit. And it was Ono out of Japan. Now, I'm telling you this, if I'm jumping around, allow me to try to slow down. So Blaze commits with Penn State. The term when I was growing up was signed with. And that meant something. A letter of intent, it meant something. And that's just not the situation now. In fact, they use the word commit, which means anything but. In my opinion, there is not a word decommit. There's not a word. And maybe I'm a little, right. In my opinion, there's not a word divorce. There's not a word. If you've done the other, there's no unwinding it. Now, you will see the word decommit used in common conversation just as much as you'll see the word commit. Decommit? When I was growing up, this was a sign of bad integrity. If you decommitted to anything, this was a letter of shame to your whole family. Now it's just a word. Oh, he committed over here. Well, he decommitted, and now he recommitted to these guys. And I'm looking at going, how? What? How do you commit a second time? Old school. I get it, right? I'm not saying these new guys are wrong. I'm just sharing with you from my perspective. It's a very odd thing, but Blaze makes his commitment to Penn State. Important that you understand that, because then Bassett does his commitment to Iowa, and Bassett signs easily the largest NIL deal in history. And if you're in Blaze's situation and you're the only person who happens to hold a ranking in front of Bassett, it would be interesting to know how he felt. Now, by the way, the two aren't the same thing. Bassett's going to bring in more money than anyone else. Bassett's the most famous. So we're having a different conversation, right? Money follows attention. It doesn't follow success. But generally, success will follow attention and everything falls into place as it should. Not all the time. No problem, but an interesting question nonetheless. How does that make Marcus feel? So, fast forward, apparently it didn't make him feel anyway. He was happy with his commitment. Marcus, when he kind of keeps his mouth shut, and you don't really know much. He just kind of goes out and handles his business. But 3 days ago, it gets announced that Ono from Japan. Remember earlier in the story when I told you there's one guy in America, but that guy doesn't have eligibility. His name is Vito. So he really doesn't count. So if he doesn't count, we then have one guy on the face of Earth that can get the best of Blaze. And that one guy is Ono out of Japan. And it gets revealed to us that all the logistics and all the effort, which would have been a tremendous amount of both, were being done and have even been completed so that Ono can come to State College and wrestle for Penn State University. And but it's very relevant. You know, when you're Blaze, you're committing to a hard situation. You're committing to a room right now that's got Nagao and Braden. Just for example, right now, a room right now that's got Lindenau, which could be your semifinal round for the 28 Olympic trials. And you're accepting that. You're accepting I'm walking in to a very, very tough grinder, a dangerous situation, but I'm going to do it anyway. I belong. But there's one guy in the entire planet that you're prepping for. There's one guy that you need to work on different positions for. There's one video of your entire collection that you need to sit down, break down, and watch with a coach. And that one guy, no matter what courage you have, what self-belief you have, that one guy was never part of the scenario that you agreed to. And that's just the truth. And you know that inside, and then you're also faced with the fact that it is logistically very difficult to happen. So, for the people who wanted it to happen, that logistically got that done, these are your own coaches. And I'm asking, is that a cool thing? Do you look at it and go, wow, that's the one guy, man. If I could have any workout partner, that's him. How awesome that this got done. How awesome I'm going to be in the room with him each day. Or do you look at it and go, hey, there's a level of competition, and for me, there's not much. I can handle the whole globe but one, and now that one might take my spot away. Or I'm going to have to fight like hell through that one to get my spot. I mean, at what point is it too much? At what point is more go in the bucket of what a great room, what a great environment, what iron on top of iron, versus, hey, my feelings got hurt. I thought I was the guy, but a big effort was. I mean, I have a hard time believing you brought him in to be a backup. So if you brought him in to be a starter, that means you made me the backup. I'm asking. I'm not deciding this. It's the incredible ability. And Iowa's got the same one. I've noticed it with Iowa too. I mean, they will bring in the best guys. This has happened throughout my entire life. I mean, it was to the point where Zadok and Schwab can't make the lineup because they got to wrestle off with each other. They go into Olympic year at different weights. They become teammates on the Olympic team. The best guys in the whole world, but sometimes you gotta run in for a spot. So it has always been almost a magical thing to get kids to agree to not see it as competitive, to not see it as a problem, to see it as a positive, to see it as an opportunity. But there's got to be a line. So I'm asking you, Marcus Blaze, does he have the right to be pissed off?